It's probably gonna be a bit of a boring video just fixing my bouncy mirrors, but the last time I was drag racing with a little wheel hop, those things were flapping like it was gonna take off. It's flopping around. So if I don't fix it, but next time I drive it, I might lose it. First thing we're gonna do is just lift up and twist. Right here, that whole piece of hardware is broken. And you can see that this piece of hardware is pretty stripped out. What I'm trying to do is use some kinetic sand to get some grip. Work like a charm. All right, the major problem is going to be getting this screw that's broken out. It's completely broken inside here. All right, guys, so this is the kind of stuff that I'm absolutely the worst at figuring out how to fix it. So we got this piece of hardware that keeps the mount secured to the door. This hole for which the base of the mirror attaches, and then this hole at an angle which the other side of the mirror attaches. Well, the threads are destroyed. The angle that it's at makes it impossible to get the right size drill for the right size heel coil that should fit right there. So that's not an option. And I mean, this base is basically no good. It's got quite a bit of paint damage already. It's bubbling right around here. So I don't really know how salvageable this mount is in the long run, how much effort to really put into it. So I'm thinking that really I might just put some adhesive in this hole and over the top. When it's time to remove it, will it really matter? Because this has to be replaced anyway. I don't really like the idea, but I don't really think there's just really not great options, because even if I can get that in, if I put, say, JB weld in here with the nut and then tried to let it cure with the nut or the screw in there and then take it out once it's partially cured, leaving threads, I don't really think there's room to do it because of this side here. And even if this was taken down, there's barely the room to clear the side here. So I think there's some diminishing return on trying to do the perfect job on this. So I'm gonna do a hack job instead. The mirror does turn both ways, which is nice because it allows access to this hard to reach location. Want to check this one for a little Chinese blueprinting. Also fairly stripped, but also not tight and wobbly and loose. Check out what the stock hardware actually looks like. And it is a self-tapper. How very nice. So that explains a little bit about the previous owner. Very cool, very cool. So both the mirrors have the exact same problem, where a little bit of the previous hardware is stuck in its place. What is somewhat interesting is on the other mirror, I couldn't even tell it was wobbly, even though all it had was a loose self-tapper in it. So I think if the forward bolt or screw is mounted strong enough, or well enough, rather, that it is possible to just kind of solve the problem right then and there. Previously this was all stripped, so I don't know if it was tight enough to do a good job, because right now this is not going anywhere. I think that as a temporary fix might be a good start, which means for here, possibly an adhesive that's a little bit easier to remove might be all that's needed. Yeah, this is a total hack job, but I only need these mounts to last until I buy some Ganador mirrors, and it's not wobbling anymore. It's got some shear support here. So what I'm gonna do is add some E6000, which can be removed with solvents. And I'm just gonna make a little bond so that this does not just fly away from a little bit of vibration, which I don't think it will anyway. Like I said, total hack job move, but it should work. So this mirror really isn't even wobbling that much, but it is wobbling some. So I'm gonna do the same thing I did before and jam some kinetic sand into the stripped screw head and use an oversized bit and turn it. And as you can see how well the kinetic sand works. I mean, that's a really stripped head, and the kinetic sand doesn't care at all. Now I just make sure this is tight while it's available, and it was not. Getting already significantly less wobble. About none of that is in the base. So now, I'll do the same thing. All right, and there you have the worst possible fix for an FD mirror of all time. So there you go, guys. That's how you how not to fix your FD mirrors. Any other hack jobs you need to know about, you'll find them here. But realistically, I drove it for a year without any of the hardware in the rear and loose hardware on the front of the mounts, and they wobbled and they didn't fly off. So at this point, tight and new hardware up front and some epoxy that I've never used before on the rear. They do have leftover hardware, they just don't have the top of the screw. So I'm hoping that glue just stops a little bit of that vibration from occurring until I can get those Ganador mirrors. So it should work, but otherwise, oh well. If you like this video, slowly and deliberately press the subscribe button, and then very gently click the like button. With any luck, my mirrors won't fall off. I don't know though.